Art for well-beings.
That's beings with an S. It's plural.
A show to end all shows. A time to watch, learn, listen.
Hear, see, feel, be, do, have.
Art, and more art.
Visual art, human art.
So, without further delay, let's give a warm welcome to our host,
Local celebrity.
Judy Gittleson.
Tick tock, 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 tick tock. And hello, and I'm your local celebrity host, Judy Gittleson, and welcome to episode number 9, all about planets, planes, spinning things, and the color amber. Amber, the only semi-precious stone that is not a stone, amber. And welcome, we've got a great show for you, and I'd like to introduce to you my co-host, Michael Buteau.
Thank you, Judy.
And producer, too. Thank you,
Yes.
Michael, for being here. And I've got two very special well-beings, very well-beings, and you guys should have a seat at this point in time because they're lit for that. And I'll start with my favorite. Sorry, Paul, I don't know you that well. Emily Woods. Welcome, Emily.
It's a pleasure to be here.
It's wonderful to have you. And Paul DeGroot.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's wonderful to be here. And we're going to talk about the paintings in a little bit. We're going to see a very well-being. We're going to talk about, these guys have one thing in common. They're all done with high school. Done, kaput, finished. That's it. They're out of it. So we're going to hear what 18-year-olds, all of them are 18. We're going to hear what 18-year-olds think about the world. And we're going to have pretty soon, Michael, do you want to tell us, actually right now, do you want to tell us about the color amber?
Yeah, it's kind of a orange-yellow color. It's very shiny, and it is kind of represents happiness. Also, it's the residue. It's a tree residue. Not to be confused with sap. It's very common to be confused, but it is not sap, even though it's very similar in texture and color.
Well, thanks for clearing that up. And amber's really cool because, Emily, do you remember what amber looks like? Remember
It's kind of orangish. It's kind of like orange and then looks like honey.
like honey, yeah. And it's a lot of time there are bugs in it. And I picked amber because it kind of glows like that. And it's the most collected semi-precious stone. And it's not even a stone. And Paul, do you have anything you want to say about the color amber?
It's happy.
It's happy, yeah. And I remember when you said that the word electron somehow is derived from the word amber.
Like energy and electricity.
Like energy, and it's very healing in the electrical world too. It's very connecting. And we're going to be talking about the planets in just a little bit. And behind me are 2 planets, and maybe we'll ask you about a question. Okay, and here we go to a paint and response. Let's see this one.
Hello, and today's Paint and Response is with me, your host, Judy Gittleson, and my marvelous well-beings, Andrea Goulet, welcome, thank you, and Daisy Spore, welcome, hi. And we're going to paint a moon, and we're going to do it in many steps. We're going to paint a black moon. We're going to dribble tar gel all around the edges of the moon, and the tar gel has green, gold, and Hansa yellow medium in it. Then we're going to paint outside the moon with anthraquinone blue, and we're going to paint over that anthraquinone blue with quinacridone magenta, and then we're going to paint the inside of the moon with titanium white, gold, and interference blue. Are you ready?
tar gel, and this tar gel has green gold and Hansa yellow medium in it. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go. We're going to paint the outside with anthraquinone blue, and you can start painting right away.
Same brush?
Yeah, you can use the same brush because it'll be dark. Anthraquinone blue. And now we're going to do a layer on top of anthraquinone blue. We're going to do a layer of quinacridone magenta. Ready, Andrea?
I am ready, Judy.
Now we're going to go right to interference blue. And we're going to put interference blue on top of the black. Now we're going to do a little white and a little gold. Like if I see where it goes lighter, and do white, like half white. That interference blue is just so
And that was one moon, and that was Andrea Goulet and Daisy Spohr and myself painting a moon. And now behind us are some moons or planets, and I want to take a peek at the one behind Michael and I. And Emily, what do you call that one?
A black hole.
Yeah, and what do you think about that?
It's pretty cool.
Would you like to be in a black hole?
No, not really.
No,
No, it seems kind of scary to be in a black hole.
just like a void.
Yeah, it's just avoid it.
Do you think it'd be noisy or quiet in a black hole?
A black hole would seem kind of quiet. What do you think?
I think it'd be like totally devoid of noise, totally
Yeah, and maybe a little bit of creepiness to
a
it.
little creepiness tucked
Like
in the
the
corners.
wind was swaying there going.
Ooh. And Paul, what do you think of that one?
I think it looks like a plum.
A plum.
Yeah.
And do you know how far away, do you remember how far away the moon is from the Earth? Do you
It's
remember?
238,000 miles.
Wow. And does that plum feel like it's that far away?
No, not at all.
It feels like it's closer, like a plum that's projecting into the room or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Michael, what do you think of this one?
Well, yeah, I mean, kind of tied to the black hole, it's like the fact that a black hole is totally devoid of light, and you just get sucked in, and at some point you're kind of getting like, I believe the word for it is spaghettified.
Spaghettified,
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't heard of that, but it
Yeah.
makes sense. Just like brought
Yeah.
into little, and speaking of spaghetti, what's cool about painting planets is that you get to paint them sort of in motion. They get this brush stroke that looks like spaghetti, you know, like they go round and
Yeah.
round and they're...
Like it's rotating.
Right.
You can, the strokes are like.
And one thing that I like to do is I like to have the planet rotating this direction while the sky is going like that, or the atmosphere is going like that. So there's two things in motion, and that's really neat that you can kind of do that with paint. You can have something going one direction and something going another direction.
Yeah.
And then we're going to go over to the planet. This one was called Dark Planet, and behind Emily and Paul is a planet called Pink Planet. And Michael, what do you think of this one?
Well, yeah, you can also see this one is it's kind of, the strokes are like it's kind of spiraling, like it's again it's rotating, kind of in contrast to this one.
And what I like about this one is the way that it's kind of coming into the canvas. It's kind of like moving that direction, like whirr, it's rolling into the planet. And Paul, what do you think of this painting?
I think it looks nice with the contrast from darks to lights.
Cool. And Emily?
Yeah, it looks cool with the colors and the, you know, more blue and bright.
Cool, thank you. And now we're going to go see something I hope you really enjoy. What's the title of this painting?
Oh, I don't know. I'm terrible at titles on my paintings.
Okay.
A couple things about it. One is, most of my paintings usually start with trying to get the colors right. And I love sort of blues and blue-greens. And I make up these bottles that have so you can pour the color to start.
And you use golden paints, right?
Yeah, I do. And what that does by pouring is you don't see much brushwork in this. And I like that. I mean, that's deliberate. I don't want the brush sense. And you're able to get a color that is almost all one color. Like this is actually all pretty much one color, but just on the sort of how the level of how concentrated it gets as it spreads over the canvas gives you some changes. So you get this dark and light. There is different colors. There's different blues in here and stuff. Initially, this and this, a lot of these colors were a little darker, so that they were nice colors, but the whole painting was kind of undifferentiated. And I brought it in earlier to one of Judy's classes, and I got some feedback about needing to do some lightness. The other thing is that certain places it was a little too busy. Often I make my paintings a little too busy, and then I have to work at simplifying them. So here there was a line going, and I tried to basically get it to disappear. And then I lightened these up with a lighter blue, which had some white mixed into it. And then I had also moistened the canvases in here and put some white down. And then I took a rag and it kind of bubbled, and I just took a rag and pressed it down, a rough rag, like a towel that had some nap in it, and got these patterns that I really liked. So I basically stayed with them. The other thing that's going on in this is that the pour medium, when you put it on thick enough, you get a very shiny surface, which in some ways is very attractive, but also can sometimes look a little plasticky. And so it's differentiated. Here it's really shiny, but here it's less shiny. So you get some contrast that way. One of the things that I really strive for when I paint is that if you look here, I think that looks nice. If you look here, in other words, that there's two parts. Does the whole painting work as a whole, but does each little section, and sometimes you can get a painting that works as a whole, but doesn't sort of work in little bits. But my preference is to try to have it something so that you could sort of almost cut out any section of it and say, oh, that's pretty nice. So I'm pretty happy with that in those terms. You know, there's big spaces for your eyes to go and rest on, but there's still, especially because of these kind of textural things, there's a fair amount going on. So.
And that was Glenn Lyons, A Very Well-Being. And Glenn paints using a lot of the golden gels and textures and mediums, and he's really inventive and explorative and playful in his painting, and we paint together every Monday. So come by the studio and visit myself and Glenn Lyons and other people. And welcome back. And now we get to talk a little further about the painting behind Emily and Paul, and this is a pink planet. And the pink planet I like because it's, as I was just saying, it's rotating into the canvas. And with painting, you can think about the canvas as being one little picture that you see, and you move things into it and out of it. And that's really a neat thing that you can do with painting. You can tell stories, you can talk about things. And speaking of planets, they keep spinning, right? We did that TikTok thing, and they keep moving. And here you guys go, all three of you are leaving the orbit that you've been in, right? You know what I mean by that? Yeah. You're going to be going to college, right? And all of a sudden, there goes this whole world, and you've moved out of the environment.
Yeah, and gravity's pulling us to this whole other world of college.
And what does that feel like? What can you tell people about what that feels like? 'Cause
well, I mean, personally for me, it just is, it's kind of, you can kind of gradually feel the changing, and you're moving to a different situation, kind of a different atmosphere.
A different atmosphere, yeah. And we've been in this atmosphere, or you've all been in this atmosphere for 18 years. Yeah. And all of a sudden your life just goes boom, and you're going into a whole nother atmosphere. Do you think the air will be different?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully not too different,
Hopefully
because
not.
Otherwise
we would have to have breathing.
Breathing apparatus. Yeah, no, it'll
I mean,
probably be
wouldn't
similar.
want that.
So
Yeah.
the air is going to be the same, but you're going to see different people all day
Yeah.
long, right?
You're not going to see high school kids anymore.
No more high school. Adios to high school, huh?
For me, it kind of feels different.
Yeah.
And
good different?
Good.
And kind of scary.
Kind of scary at the same
like
time.
Like you live in this
because
world where you've been for a long time.
Where your parents have always been there and
yeah.
watched out. But like now you're going to go off to college and then it's going to be you.
Yeah, and I'm an adult, and there's still days where it's like, oh my God, I'm leaving this world that was really familiar. Every day, you know, every day we go to these places that are like, I haven't been here before. I haven't been in this spot. Isn't that amazing? I haven't been in this spot ever before. And my whole life led me to this spot, too. Isn't that funny? What do you think about that, Paul?
It's okay.
It's okay. Kind of trippy, huh? All right. And so anything else you want to say about being 18, going off to college?
Not much.
No. How about you? Anything else you want to say about it?
Well, it's just, it's a change, and it like seems like yesterday, like you're starting first grade.
Yeah.
And
to you, it seems like just yesterday you were starting first grade.
No, like it's just like different because we always like you look at crowds differently. Like I don't know. I remember when I was little, everybody like big and everything like bigger. But then when I grew up, I'm like, this looks so small. And I remember bigger. It's like, I'm like, that's because you're little.
Cool.
So it's
and
different how you see the world differently.
Now look at here, we get to go see the world differently, okay?
In an airplane.
Yeah, in an airplane.
Right. And that was another way to see the world, from up above, from inside of it, from changing age. And now, Michael, you have something you want to tell us about?
Yes, and another way to see it is through the perspective of another living creature, say, in this next video, a dog. It's a very, just a very in-depth look, different, it kind of see how it moves and how the world around the dog changes with just in speed and motion. Just kind of, it's a very physical video of just very simply just a dog playing fetch. It's very playful and just goes into many different aspects of the acceleration, the running, some jumping, the turnaround.
And here we have Planet Daisy. And that was Planet Daisy, another spectacle by you and Greg Gatwood. That was great, Michael. And there we saw, this show was about moving and the planets spinning and people growing older and time and perspective, and that was really neat. And it's been great to have you here, Emily. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
And pleasure was mine. And Paul, it was great to have you here.
Thank you.
And I wish you the best in your flight.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Yeah.
It'll be like the airplane.
It'll be just like the airplane. Yeah. And then Paul, I hope you have a great launch into your future too, whatever that one's going to be. And Michael, we're going to be seeing each other a whole lot because you're going to be producing show after show with me. And
close by.
Yeah, very close by. And then we're going to figure out how to keep this planet spinning at a pace that's affordable was the word that came to mind. I guess affordable is a good term for that. So we're going to keep the planet spinning. We're going to keep the paintings painting, the airplanes flying, and the dogs running, and the painters painting, and the people talking. And there's a whole lot more to see and a lot more to do. And I liked when we were talking a little bit about how it took 18 years to get to this point for you guys. I'm like 3 times as old as you. That is amazing. I'm over 3 times as old as you. And 3 times, I still feel like I'm going off to college tomorrow somehow. I don't know exactly how that works, but it could be there. But and can I ask you a favor in our closing? Would you guys join me in a goodbye episode of TikTok? Are we ready for it?
Sure.
All right, hop on down. And we're going to go to our left. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Adios. Tick tock, tick tock.